Hi. Here we have a house and a person on the earth and a manifestation of the heavens. Not dead people, the heavens. Let's see, maybe the house is like a window or a door anywhere. So today's thought to go with this is, why shouldn't the House of Representatives stay home? So that the House of Representatives, once elected, would establish a TV studio in their district. And then the TV studio would be able to caucus and do all the things that that the congressional office would do in Washington, D.C. They'd stay at home and have this, well, anyone who's familiar with the wonders of and the ever-increasing wonders made manifest by telecommunications and cyber communication. Those representing their districts could stay in their districts, and the thrill of going to Washington, D.C. would be these, oh, I don't know, Washington weeks, in which they'd go to Washington for 1 week, and how they did would be reported the way 1 week festivals are. So it'd be 1 week to have a festival of all things Washington, D.C. is supposed to do, and as it's evolving, rather like the Smithsonian is evolving, to a place that is much more representative than ever before. So, on a regular day in, day out, yearly basis, the congressional folks, the representative would be in Des Moines or Tacoma or Chico Paradise area or wherever he actually is representing, and people could come and talk to them about upcoming votes. How they actually voted that day would be recorded, not just in the congressional record somewhere nearby where someone bought the parcel of land where the Coke sign used to be. And so here the person is going back home after having gone outside and had a contact with a manifestation of the creative force of its molecules, the person's molecules, and the person is issued forth the person's soul. So now the person's going home. So the congressional staff would stay and work on a variety of issues at home, but they'd also have the pleasure via teleconferencing and real life travel of going to the actual states where the other congressional staff's people are. Now the Senate would have the privilege of spending much more time, the way I see it, in Washington, D.C. Hopefully preserving the prestige not only for the senators, but for Washington, D.C. itself. However, the visits to the various areas where the congressional districts exist, the senators could bask in this much more responsive realm that's afforded that. And then once a year, there's Washington Week, in which the state representatives can go and have their pavilions on water usage, the particular industries or necessities of the populace. One thing that's representative about the House of Representatives now is I was talking to someone in my district, and I ran this idea past him, and before I did, I said, well, instead of them staying in Washington, D.C. to represent us, and he said, well, they might as well be on Mars as far as he was concerned. And that was my point, although I don't think he was much encouraged by the idea. I grew up a news hound, and I've got what I don't think is really that sophomoric an idea that it matters what happens in Washington. So the manifestation of the deity fills the house up somewhat, at least for a little while. Of course, the deities are everywhere, but they're a little more everywhere, just like goodness. Goodness is infinite and infinitely varied. That it manifests itself more to an individual. You get better. Skin your knee, you get better. Okay, so the House of Representatives stays home, and then has its big fun week and gets lots of attention, and stays home, and the voting would be conducted on something akin, my vision is something like a huge Jeopardy screen in which you see all the talking heads when they punch their vote in. There they are, or there they ain't. So that there's this image of them on the screen with this whole myriad, and there they are, the talking head, and even either says yay, of course, or nay. I guess they're sticking with more on why green is a hotter flame than red. Or there could be like, oh, something kind of like not there. Okay, ew. I'm gonna have to get rid of the. I'm gonna have to get rid of the other. Anyway, some kind of big. You didn't vote. Hasn't voted, and then hasn't voted yet. It could be nicer. Question mark or something. So all this could be recorded, and people could get a big readout, sort of like a Jeopardy board version of the Supreme Soviet, with this huge readout, and you can see how everybody did. And I think that would at least be a more amusing way to run the House of Representatives. And so, for example, any bribes they took some of them might actually increase air travel and the local economy, say, in terms of boarding, or at least far-flung limousine rental, local airport might get more action and the like. Okay, so that's oscar211010 on 3. However, this mirror thing works 3. And off we go.